This video will show you how to replace an Onyx ClimbMill drive set. Some of the footage in this video shows the Matrix Performance ClimbMill frame, but the process is the same on Onyx ClimbMill frames. Your ClimbMill has 3 serial number stickers. Before you begin, unplug the power cord from the wall outlet. Remove the service bay shrouds. Use a plastic pry tool to remove the lower plastic strip. Use a flathead screwdriver to turn the 2 fasteners at the base of the lower cover, 1/4 turn. Pull the side panel forward, and then lift to remove it from the frame. Use a Phillips screwdriver to remove the upper side covers. Repeat these steps on the other side. Drive set removal and reinstallation. The footage in the next section shows the Matrix Performance ClimbMill frame, but the process is the same on Onyx ClimbMill frames. Rotate the steps so that you can easily access the step rod hardware. Pull the chain towards you to remove any slack. And then push the bearing back to create a gap between the bearing and the X-clip. Use pliers to squeeze and remove the X-clip. Keep in mind that this requires a lot of pressure. Repeat these steps to remove the X-clip from the other stair rod. Remove the bearing, washer, and then the chain. Remove the black spacer that is between the chain and the stair. Repeat these steps to remove the hardware from the other stair rod. If needed, you can use a rubber hammer to push the stair rod through the step. Never use a steel-faced hammer, because it could damage the stair rod. Move to the other side of the frame and then slowly remove one of the stair rods. Hold onto the step rod hardware, because the step will fall when the rod is out. Remove the rod from the other side of the step. Lift the step out of the frame. Rotate the stairs in reverse until the opening is over the drive set. When you come to the loose stair, fold it up so that it does not hang on the spring. You will also need to lift the other side of the loose stair so that it clears the floor. Fold the top stair and use a bungee cord to secure it to the frame. Use a second bungee cord to secure the lower stair. Remove the fixing plate that is above the drive set. We recommend storing the fixing plate on top of the stair that you removed, so you'll remember to attach it to the frame during reassembly. Depress the tabs to disconnect the wires at the top of the drive set. Remove the speed sensor bracket from the drive set. Tuck the speed sensor behind the wire on the side of the frame. Unplug all of the remaining wires that connect to the drive set. Set the wires off to the side, away from the drive set. Using a wrench, loosen the nut on the spring assembly until it reaches the end of the threaded rod. Do not take the nut all the way off. Remove the spring assembly from the drive set. The spring should be loose, because it will help during reassembly. If the spring is too tight, it may be difficult to align the holes when reattaching this assembly to the drive set. On the left side of the drive set, use a 6mm Allen wrench to remove the bolt that secures the push rod assembly to the axle. Keep in mind that the optional push rod connection tool can be used during reassembly to align the angle of the bracket and stopper. However, the tool is not required to complete this procedure. Remove the sprocket from the pulley set. An extension with a 6mm Allen key is required for the next step. 5 bolts secure the drive set to the frame. We recommend always removing the lower bolts first, since the 2 upper bolts prevent the drive set from falling. First, unlock the brake. And then rotate the drive set to access the 3 lower bolts. Using a 6mm Allen wrench, remove the 2 larger bolts. Using a 4mm Allen wrench, loosen, but do not remove, the smaller bolt. The last 2 bolts are behind the upper fan. Remove the lower bolt first. Start to loosen the top bolt. And then lock the drive set. Before you remove the top bolt, hold onto the drive set so you can gently lower it to the stairs. Move the drive set up and off of the 4mm bolt. And then lift the drive set out of the frame. Install the new drive set. Before you install the new drive set, make sure that the 4mm bolt is loose enough for the drive set to easily fit between the bolt and the bracket. In this example, the bolt is so loose that the threads do not stick out on the opposite side of the bracket. The frame also has a stud to align the top of the drive set. This corresponds with a slot on the drive set, between the 2 bolt holes. Place the new drive set in the frame. In the next step, you will lift the drive set up, so the bracket on the frame fits between the two pulleys on the top of the drive set. Place the drive set onto the stud. Lower the bottom of the drive set, so that it rests on the 4mm bolt. If the bolt holes on the frame and the slotted holes on the drive set are misaligned, we recommend using a screwdriver to lever the drive set higher in the frame. When the drive set is properly aligned with the frame, tighten the 4mm bolt to prevent the drive set from moving. But do not fully tighten this bolt yet. The holes at the top of the drive set are now properly aligned. Start, but do not fully tighten, the bolts by the upper fan. We recommend inserting the bottom bolt first. Keep in mind that these bolts use specialized washers. When you are preparing for this step, install the washer so that the wider end is next to the bolt head. Start, but do not fully tighten, the bolts at the bottom of the drive set. Using a screwdriver, pry the drive set up, so that you can align the pulley with the drive chain. Place the sprocket against the pulley and hold it in place while you slowly lower the drive set. Hold the sprocket in place, then rotate the pulley to align the holes. Start, but do not fully tighten, the 4 bolts that attach the sprocket to the pulley. Lock the brake. Now, fully tighten the sprocket bolts. Reinstall the push rod assembly, making sure to position it correctly. The arm should be very relaxed. There should be space between the push rod and the upper sprocket. Reinstall the bolt. If you have the optional tool, place it over the push rod bolts to verify that the bracket is properly aligned. Attach the spring assembly to the drive set. These bolts should align very easily. If the holes do not align, or if you must push on the assembly to align them, the spring is too tight. You can adjust the nut below the spring to loosen this part. Tighten the spring. The optional spring gauge can be used in this step to check spring tension. If you do not have this tool, use a ruler to ensure that the spring is 87.5 mm, or 3.5 inches. Unlock the brake so you can rotate the pulleys. And then fully tighten the drive set bolts. Plug the speed sensor wire from the frame into the new speed sensor board on the drive set. The old board and bracket can be discarded. Slowly turn the pulley, and watch the speed sensor optical disc. If any of the disc teeth are bent, straighten them with pliers. If a disc tooth is bent and hits the speed sensor at high speeds, it will break the sensor, and a new one will need to be ordered. Reinstall the fixing plate above the drive set. Rotate the stairs so the opening is underneath the drive set. Clean, and add a small amount of grease to each step rod. Reinstall the step rods. Attach the hardware in this order: X-clip, bearing, washer, chain, and then spacer. Line up the two steps. They may align best at a certain angle. Then thread the rod through to the other side. Go to the left side of the frame and install the hardware: spacer, chain, washer, bearing, and X-clip. The X-clip fits into a groove on the push rod. Use pliers to fully tighten the clip. Repeat these steps to reinstall the other side of the stair. Before you reinstall the covers, test movement and the emergency stops. Reassembly. Reinstall the service bay shrouds. Repeat these steps on the other side. Plug in and test the unit. You have finished drive set replacement.